So, is the property market showing signs of cooling off? We're in an unprecedented property boom, something nobody could have predicted this time last year when we went into lockdown 1, or was just coming out of lockdown 1, but we're in a property boom. But before we get into is the property market cooling, if you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you get notified when I'm doing more videos like this, and give it a thumbs up and a comment in the comments. Really helps the algorithms, it really helps me understand what you are enjoying. Is the property market cooling? So Rightmove is showing data at the moment. Let's get this article up. This article was in Yahoo Finance. So Rightmove was showing data. This article's headline is "End of the Boom: Signs of Cooling in the UK Red Hot Housing Market." So that is with, not sure how well you can see that, that is with Yahoo Finance. So basically they're saying prices of properties come up to the market rose just 0.8% last month. So last month was still a rise, but basically what they're saying is the rise wasn't as high as the previous rises previous to that. So they increased £2,509 on average, pushing the national average to a record high of £336,073 for a third consecutive month. So the prices are still going up. So when they're saying it's cooling, not saying they're starting to decrease the prices, but the price gain is not as high as it was previously. So although the sales agreed in May were 17% ahead of the same period of 2019, it fell short of April's 45%. So this is the difference. So last month was 17% and the month before was 45%. So there is still growth, but that growth is slow, has reduced. So is this showing the early signs of a reduction? What's happened in between this to potentially influence this? So we've got the end of the first tapered stamp duty coming to the end. So that's 250k. It's going to go like it's 500k stamp duty holiday, and it's going to taper off. So at the end of the month, it's going to go down to 250, and then it'll go completely in another 3 months time. So that has definitely had an impact. It's even having an impact in my location. I was speaking to agents, and I'll share with you what the agents have been telling me as well in a minute. But speaking to agents, and they're saying most people don't understand this stamp duty holiday correctly, and where they're hearing this is ending. Even in my location, a lot of prices are under 250,000. In my remote location, Stockton-on-Tees in the northeast, I'm based in the southeast. Basically, a lot of houses are under 250k, so it shouldn't affect them. But it's still like the market seems to be slowing up with them, and it's more of a psychology thing. But another thing's happened. The country's opening up a lot more, so people are going back to work. People are eating out for lunch. They're eating out in restaurants now. Restaurants are open. Bars are open. People are starting to go on holiday. There's green country. There's countries coming onto these green lists. Barbados and Ibiza and places like that made it onto green list. Portugal was last month. So people are starting to spend more money. My wife had her nails done 2 days ago, and it's by a friend, and she was saying last year they bought a better house than they thought they was going to buy because they saved a ton of money on what they was going to spend on holidays and not commuting and not eating out to work. So now this is opening back up. People are not spending so much money. Also, another big factor to this, obviously, lots of people claim bounce back loans, mortgage holidays, credit card holidays, all these different stuff. People claim this money, so people that still had money had more disposable income to them, and also sat indoors with a pent up demand. A lot of people had a pent-up demand from Brexit anyways. It was umming and ahhing what to do. Will the market drop? Because there was loads of talks that once we leave the EU, it's going to drop. Then that carried over to the lockdown. And when the lockdown opened, everybody went, do you know what? I'm sick of waiting. And then obviously lots of stuff gets done on emotion and sentiment. And so many people was buying. And as a result, the market started climbing. But where the property market was shut down, the inventory, the stock levels of the properties reduced. So when everything opened back up, everything reduced. Solicitors have been slow as well because they're working from home, not from their offices, and everything, like the stockpile was reduced, everything flew off the shelves, and then it got reported, and then as people was buying stuff, things would get selling, and it creates a sentiment, and it creates this chain of effects that's really now the low inventory stock of properties has not recovered. Rightmove has been around, I think it's 25, maybe 30 years, and they've said never in their history of owning the platform have they ever had agents have more properties sold than they have for sale. That's never ever happened, and inventory stock's lower than there are ever been. And it don't take a massive economic genius to know if you've got higher demand and lower supply, then that pushes prices up. So there's quite a lot of factors going into the house prices getting pushed up. But is this slowing down? As I said just a minute ago, people open up, people going on holiday, people going back to work, people are eating out again, people spending more money. All the other shops have opened up because the estate agency and the property market, in the other lockdown, stayed open all the way through as well. So the first lockdown, everything shut, and the other ones, this stayed open. People not got so much time on their hands. We're coming to summer months. Summer months are notoriously lower because most people usually don't want to move when the kids are at home. They usually want to go on holiday in a 6 weeks holiday, and they don't want the kids around their feet when they're moving. So a lot of people choose to move not in the holidays when the kids are at school and not when they're going on holiday themselves. So this is another factor that could have an influence towards this. So yeah, there's a lot of things. The data's there showing that it is slowing, only marginally. It's still a really hot market, by the way. So when we're saying is it cooling, it's not cooled off. It's showing signs. It's cooled a little bit, like fractionally, and showing signs of cooling off. I went up to that remote location a week ago and spoke to all the agents, done the usual rounds with the agents, asked them the questions, and all of them said exactly the same. It's been really starting to cool down. It's been really slowing down, and they give me the same sort of feedback on that as the evidence is showing. And again, one of the agents, exactly what he was saying to me, I believe it is because people's mindset around the stamp duty ending, even though it didn't really affect the prices of the properties in the area, it's still having a sentimental effect on the psyche and the psychology of the market. There's also a bit more stockpiles replenishing and starting to pick back up again. Another big factor that's happening, which I think a lot of people are overlooking as well, is courts have been shut down for a long time. So there's like the repossession process has all been pushed back. So that agent said to me when I was in there the other day, he went, yeah, listen, the courts have opened back up. There's actually 3, and this is the power of relationships and keeping in contact with them fresh in their mind. He went, I've valued 3 today, repossessions are coming back to the market. So this stockpile, we've not had the stock of repossession, especially as investors. Repossessions, as much as I'm not a fan of the repossession process where you have to bid on the property, then have a public notice, and you could be gazumped because it goes online and tells everybody what a fantastic price you've got. Somebody jumps in and goes gazumption, you lose all your fees you've spent on it to that point. I'm not a fan of that, but there's too many properties and deals that come through that method for you to ignore that. So this is a big, I'd probably buy 30, maybe 30% of the properties I've bought, and we've done like over 80 deals, but probably 30% of the properties I've bought have probably been repossessions. So it's a large percentage of them, maybe pushing a little bit more. So these have not been around for the last year. If they have, there's only been the odd one that's come through the bit. We bought one from a bank, and it was not under normal repossession conditions because it had come through a different sort of channel. But this is all coming back, so this is going to replenish the stockpiles. As I said, people going on holiday, people are not being pent up, are going to help replenish the stockpiles. As the stockpiles start creeping back up, that should help retain it. And the signs of Rightmove is obviously showing that as well. It's going in that direction, coming backwards. Is it cool yet? No. But it's definitely going in that direction. To the question that Chloe asked and faced, what should you be doing now? Let's get the question back up again. So what she should be doing now is she has cash, sitting on the sidelines, renovating flips or buy-to-lets. I would be looking to add value to property still. It's quite hard. There is very less. There's very less. What's the word less? That's not a really word. There's not as many deals out there to be had. But as I said, we're still doing deals. And if I sat on my hand, I'd be doing no deals. And also a massive commodity is relationships. Most of my deals have always come from agents. We do direct to vendor stuff, but agents get 90% of properties going through their hands. So if you can build relationships with agents, like I got an offer accepted 3 weeks ago, and I got accepted on that offer before it come to market, before it went on a bidding frenzy and bidding wars, because I had that relationship with the agent. So if you can build a relationship with agents, you can get deals. In the meantime, if you haven't got a relationship with agents and you can't get a deal, the time you're spending speaking to them, building rapport with them, is going to be equally worth the deal that you could have got. And if a deal does come through, the odd deal comes through in that time while you're building relationships with them, fantastic, you've got a deal. If it don't come through, don't stack, like don't be a motivated buyer and it don't stack, then you've built a relationship, so when they do start coming through, you've got a really strong relationship and foundation with them for when they do start coming through and they take you serious. So yeah, 100% go out there. Flips are probably a little bit more riskier, but do a flip if you've got an exit plan. So basically, if it works as a buy to let, if you didn't sell, because we don't know what's going to happen. The market is, I feel we've got at least another year, maybe 2 years of this. I feel the market will just slow down. There'll still be a bit of growth, I think, over the next few years, but not as rapid as it has been. I think the stockpiles will replenish. Again, only my opinion, only my views. Always make your own views up from it and don't actually go out and invest off the back of this. Accumulate your own sort of point of view from it. But I feel we've got a while. There's a lot of money pushing through the system, especially in the hands and the pockets of people as well, through all these schemes it's gone through. So I think it's going to take a while to filter through. We're also not fully at the end. There's a lot of countries that are not vaccinated that much. We're still not fully on top of it in our own country. So the government is going to carry on all around the world supporting and putting money into the economy until we're on top of this, until we've got a point, like a freedom point, like whatever they're calling it. So until we get that point, I feel there's more money to come into the economy as well. There's different loans out all the time. There's new schemes out and recovery scheme out there at the moment. So yeah, I feel we've got quite a while from it. But as we're easing up, it is the level of growth, like it's gone from 45 down to 17. I think it's going to keep on just chipping backwards. I think we've got a year of that to then maybe plateauing it off for a little while, a year, maybe 2. But in the meantime, more deals will accumulate. And if you sit on your hands in the meantime, 1, you could potentially lose capital growth. Don't invest for the potential capital growth. That's a bad strategy. But 2, you can lose potential deals. As I said, having the odd, I've got 5 deals in legals now, and we've got capacity. I've got the investors around me, got the capacity, got the cash myself to have double that amount, got a team behind me to be able to do double that amount. But if I sat on my hands, I'd have no deals, you know. So it's better having an odd chance having a deal, but also keeping the relationships going with the agent. So yeah, what I would advise you, Chloe, is definitely look at buying, look at building relationships with agents, look at being out there, do your numbers, don't become a motivated seller, make sure you've got a bit of margin in there, because in case there is a house price fluctuation, we don't know what is going to happen. This is such an unprecedented time. This is such an experiment. The amount of money the government's pumped into the economy and inflation, we could cause hyperinflation, interest rates could skyrocket, could collapse the housing markets. We don't know for certain, but so that's why you definitely want to get some sort of breathing space in there, like not over leveraged, probably at 75% potentially. So that would be my advice to you, but definitely get out there, definitely take action, definitely be building your network and relationships in the meantime. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon if you enjoy this video. I think you'll find this video useful. This is about is BRR dead? And yeah, watch this video after this. Remember, if you don't evolve your ideas, you're never going to live on your own terms. So evolve your ideas, live on your own terms. Have a great day.